BTC is still at 85K. The altcoins have had a bit of a ride, though. They've dropped into those pockets from yesterday's show. So, guys, we are now in the official altcoin bounce zone. Are they going to fake us up to the upside and then rinse us, or are these things going to move? So today, guys, we're talking about a lot of those setups from yesterday. There are a couple of new longs for you as well. And I've also got one short locked and loaded for you guys. So we got an absolute banger. Let's get right into it. Guys, and remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. And James is in the house. Bullish or bearish, too? Bull or bear?
Bullish. All depends on what PayPal has to say.
Still
he can ruin the day, or he might provide a massive pump. Depends on what he says here in a couple hours.
Okay, when's he talking? Just for everybody.
1:30 Eastern, so about 2 hours from now.
Okay, 2 hours from now, rinsed or wrecked or rich. Okay, we're going to see. Something filthy is coming in hot. Okay, core. This is a nice one. This always responds very well to BTC. I've got that chart for you guys today, and we're playing with a possible short at the moment in this core, but don't take a short. Okay, it's not an official short, and I'm going to show you a possible long setup for this core because there are some big targets to the upside. Okay, so hang in there. Panda, this was your call. So Panda's in the chats. Let us know what we're doing with core. If you're happy with the guys jumping in that core position, let us know in the chat while we carry on. Okay, Fartcoin doing some things, and I'm in a little sneaky scalpy. I'm not proud of myself for trading that shitcoin, but it is working at the moment. CRV, that has come alive again, and basically in the last hour, the market has started looking a lot better. I'm going to talk about why it looked so sad earlier today, and we're going to see if we can hang on to this existing bounce. So let's jump straight into BTC, and let's see this tiny little pump. Can you believe it? It feels like every day this week I've been saying Bitcoin is at 85K because it's literally still at 85K. I mean, this thing is really just a sign of the amount of chop that we've had to deal with over the last while. And then the altcoins obviously got a little bit hurt during the evening yesterday. So what are we doing now with BTC? It's getting very interesting here for us because the liquidity is building up to the downside and the upside. So the bulls and the bears, they're still super undecided, and this typically happens when you see this type of chop in the market. So we've got tons of liquidity sitting up here. That's easy pickings for the market makers as well to the downside. So based on what I'm looking at the moment, I'm definitely not getting excited. I'm not getting overexcited here saying, fuck, that was the bottom, guys. We're going to the moon. I'm definitely not feeling that vibe. What I am feeling at the moment is possible short-term bounce. I've got my one eye behind me in case they are going to come and rinse us. We're watching very carefully, but we take advantage if the market gives us some kind of short-term move. So what am I watching now for BTC? Liquidation levels number one, where we can possibly get rinsed here, 86 to 86.4. Watch this area over there. That ties in pretty nicely with the liquidation heat map at 86K, give or take. You can see that nice juicy zone there to the upside. James, what are you laughing at, bro? Then we've got a little bit higher. I've got the big zone. This is the big boss. This is the 1 month liquidation heat map to the upside, 88, 89K. That is a massive zone for us. We're going to look at that again in detail on the daily chart, but I am expecting a struggle up here for BTC. I don't think it will be super easy, okay? Unless there's some monumental bit of news that comes out and something like that, then maybe we can burn through that. But if it's in the markets, the S&P's a bit flat and things like that, and we get a push of BTC into that zone, I'm not confident it breaks. I'm pretty sure we are just going to get that type of reversal there. So keeping my eyes on that to the upside. And then in terms of downside levels, well, look at this. Our super bullish 236 fib has given us a reaction. So that was our 83,600 region, giving us a little bounce, nothing to write home about. And then a little bit lower down, we've got 81.9. That is making a lot of sense to me. And then, guys, remember, just as yesterday, mark that on your charts there, 79K. That's the big 618. And John, that's correct, John. Liquidations all over the place at the moment. Okay, let's jump into some of the action here, and let's see what's going on. Okay, let's talk Let's talk liquidations, 24-hour, 230 million at the moment. And look, it's basically on par for what we were looking at yesterday. So nothing too serious yet. But I'm sure if there's some late longs coming in here, guys trying to long the top of BTC now, you could come in for a little bit of a hiding, okay? And that is why it's very important, and especially for me, if you guys are watching the show, it's very important to keep you guys very balanced on the market. And I want to make sure that you have short setups as well, and you understand how to hedge, okay? So you're always going to get short setups and stuff from us as well at Hackers, and you're going to be covered with these types of things. Are we 100% tariff yet? 1,000%. Okay, we're talking tariffs in a sec. But firstly, let's talk this absolute fucking banger yesterday. Who caught a little bit of that Brett short? What an absolute banger. And guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at the Lord of Entry. I am dropping little nuggets of alpha there for you guys already as well. So if you tune in there, you're probably going to see the odd market update, the odd chart setup and stuff like that waiting for you guys. Obviously, all the juicy shit is sitting in Hackers. But if you want a little bit of action, here's the story. Okay, so that was the setup yesterday. Hopefully some of you guys caught this absolute banger. Okay, that was a massive mover. Let me know in the chat. And PMG George, thank you, sir. I'm very glad that you got that. And I do have another. And thank you, Auto World. I've got another possible one. Same sort of setup, okay? Same setup. We're going to play this nicely. Hopefully, they're not going to wreck us like this hype is really putting me under pressure again. And we're going to talk about that one, okay? Never mind gold as well. Okay, so this is basically where we are right now. Any sign of bullish momentum, bash on or slap on a bearish tariff headline. I mean, that's literally how the market is playing at the moment. And we can see there's more drama coming today. We've just touched on this. Powell is talking 11:30 Eastern time. James, is that incorrect? Correct? Okay, well, it's coming in hot, guys. There's going to be something. Yes, sir.
Forex Factory shows us 1:30 p.m. So he's either speaking 15 minutes ago, which I have not seen, and the published time is 1:30, but all over Twitter, everyone said 11:30. I corrected every single post that I found.
Okay. Forex Factory normally more reliable than Twitter. Okay,
that's
normally.
Okay,
normally. Okay, so yeah. Okay, he's talking. This shit gonna go down. These green candles now in the crypto market might be actually a bad sign. We might be pumping into Powell saying something a little bit hawkish or a little bit bearish. Okay, so just keep in mind. And then this was the false news earlier, and I nearly went live with my show that said like the 245% tariffs cancelled everything because I mean it was quite a serious headline, but we quickly pulled that one back, okay, because it turned out this was all fake news. Okay, 245% tariffs, and I was reading that the White House commentary, and it was nothing like that. Okay, it was just the calculation. Anyway, long story, it's all bullshit. Anyway, Dupes is saying different clock, same ticking nonsense. Look at the headlines here. White House, Trump opened to deal with China. White House, we don't have to make a deal with them. White House, ballers in China's court. Ballers in China's court. Okay, guys, can you just decide what you want to do, please, so we can all get on with our lives and stop talking about tariffs? The amount of times I said tariffs in the last 4 weeks, guys, it's more than I've said in my entire life. Like literally, I'm so tired of saying tariffs, and the amount of times I've had to type the word tariff, I'm like, I still can't spell it, but fuck, you know what I mean? Is it double R or double F? I never know. Okay, so how is China retaliating against Trump's tariffs? There you go, single R, guys. Well, Beijing is targeting Boeing and more in response to Trump-era tariffs. Okay, 125% tariffs on U.S. goods after escalating trade tensions. Business restrictions for U.S. firms like Illumina and PVH added to export control and unreliable entity list. Antitrust probe into Google. That's pretty big. Boeing slowdown. Okay, so that's obviously going to affect the Boeing stocks as well. We're going to need to take a look at some of those. Rare earth export limits, we know about that one. Hollywood access cut, we know about that one. And service trade pressure. Guys, basically, they're fighting back. Okay, they're fighting back hard. And John says tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. He's so sick of it. Guys, I'm sick of saying tariffs. Can't they just go away? And Bucko Capital Bloke says, the most obvious and simple proof there is no plan. America is now in a full-on trade war with China. They are asking other countries to take their side. But first, they pissed every other country off, okay? Now, that order of operations makes literally no sense. So if you want to read this little touch from the Wall Street Journal, take a look at this thing. But very good point. You know, he's really pissed everyone off. And now he's running to them saying, oh, well, guys, we as a collective now, we must all stick together and do this thing after really just insulting people and just pissing everybody off. So, yeah, not a good look for at the moment for Uncle Donald, I don't think. And Dominico says, is Hackers part of a monthly or yearly membership when we join your courses? Yes, you can get that as an option when you join the course. Guys, I'll talk about my accelerator course in a couple of minutes because I've got my workshop coming in hot for you guys on Monday. Okay, so make sure you are signed up because that workshop only happens, every now and again. So make sure you guys are ready. All right, let's go. Okay, Wall Street Journal. Cool. Now let's talk gold because I'm about to get liquidated here on gold. Okay, I'm getting under serious pressure here at the moment. And the reason being this gold trade for me had a lot to do with sort of the tariff backstep that Trump and his administration were taking this past weekend. That was going to signify a shift in the conditions. And I was expecting gold to reverse and then the markets and crypto to actually start doing a little bit better. But then Lutnick came out and Trump came out. They corrected their statements. China's still fighting. And basically, the macro situation still looks like absolute dog shit. And when the macro situation looks like dog shit, you generally not want to be short gold, okay? So right now, I'm getting my ass handed to me. I'm probably going to get liquidated in the next, today. I think I'm going to get liquidated on this gold. We'll call it invalidated. And that is coming around the corner. So, look, I still believe gold is going to reverse. It's going to reverse hard, but we're going to need the macro situation to change. We're going to need a shift in the headlines as well, and that is going to be able to help send this thing down. But it is quite unreal that gold is now passing the 3618 fib. I'm actually standing here with my jaw open. I cannot believe this. All-time highs. Absolute pumper here on gold. Okay, so sitting in my short until they liquidate me. I'm guessing they might have been liquidated me already. Let's see. Where's this PAXG? Let's see where we are. Where's PAXG? It's gone, guys. I've been invalidated on gold. Okay, so that is
officially liquidated.
officially liquidated, and that's why I made that an isolated position because I didn't want to get myself into one of those spots. Okay. And James, we must watch this market. If it starts rolling over, I want to bang out some shorts here quickly, some head shorts just to cover up. Okay, so if we see a big move here, I might have to add to that render situation. What do we got there? Sui. We got to cover ourselves here. Okay, so we can see a little bit of a reversal. We'll watch this one as we go. All right. Okay, so guys, that's the gold story. Okay, that is where we are on gold. Unfortunately, I got invalidated. We're going to try this again, though. I'm a fighter. Okay, I'm not going to give up. We're going to get this one. Okay, let's talk about the best traders in the room. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I know I've been harping on about this for 2 days, but fuck, she's exceptional.
So good. So good that she can't even look at the camera in this thing here.
She cannot look at the camera. I need to know who her advisor is. This guy's good. Listen to this.
I think that criticism is laughable. President Trump has been talking about tariffs for decades. President Trump announced April 2nd is when he was putting tariffs in place. I have a fiduciary agreement with my portfolio manager. I don't place my buys and sells. That's something that the portfolio manager does.
What, she can't make a call?
He did a great job. Guess what he did? He bought the dip. And that's what anybody
bought the dip, man. Okay.
When they know the market's going to be going down. That was obvious to everyone.
Was it so obvious? What was it so obvious?
So obvious. Everybody bought the dip.
Everyone bought the dip like a few hours before. Excellent.
I sent her a message earlier asking if I can get the name of that guy so he can invest for me too.
He sounds like a guy. We need to follow that.
We need to get him in Chart Hackers.
Oh yeah, we need him. Okay, we need him on the squad here. Okay, let's talk S&P. So the only thing a little bit concerning here is the S&P is actually a little bit red at the moment. We've seen crypto turn a bit green. I don't like it when the S&P is like a little bit dark like this and crypto's looking good. It normally makes me a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous. So keeping a close eye. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not super convinced we need to go max long here, guys. We got our entries from those dips yesterday, and now we just need to play the game. Okay, so yes, Panda, what are we doing with core, bro? Let us know, please, in the chats. I've got core here. I'm sitting in a core short, bro. You got to tell me what to do. Okay, let's go. NVIDIA. Let's talk about this. Big news on NVIDIA last night. James, you told me about this earlier. What is the TLDR here on NVIDIA? What do they need to know? And there was a ban or something. What's going on here?
Yeah, Trump's banned them from selling their H20 chips and whatever to China. He's trying to limit China from getting this stuff. So it's like a $5.5 billion a year hit to NVIDIA's sales. So that's why it's big, and that's why tech stocks are all getting shit on today, right? This affects all of them. So AMD, NVIDIA, all the big guys there are getting hammered over this today.
Okay, so rinsed basically on NVIDIA. Anyone long? That's a big headline. Okay, so this means that we are going to get a great NVIDIA long. I think we just need to be patient, and we are going to get it. So this is unusual, according to 𝗏𝗃𝗃 letter. At 2:20 p.m., there was an $8 million spike in puts on the Nasdaq 100. 4 hours later, US banned NVIDIA from selling their H20 chips to China. The Nasdaq is now down 300 points. Somebody always knows, okay? Somebody's excellent there. And 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 says, what's wrong with Jerome? Just start printing or get fired. I don't think it's that easy. I mean, if your policy is only to print money, I don't know if that's very smart, though. I mean, yeah, maybe short term it helps, but it's not going to help the grandkids, I don't think. Okay, let's talk NVIDIA. So a couple of things here. I'm watching NVIDIA on the 3-day. And look, we never got the short entry. I wanted the short pump into the 50-day MA. I wanted the short pump into the 200-day MA. I wanted to see that region hit for us. Now, obviously, this headline has come and rinsed NVIDIA. It's probably going to be an issue, but things working in NVIDIA's favor. Now I'm watching the 3-day chart. We can see there is bullish divergence here. So this is quite an interesting look for us, but our cash flow is a little bit red at the moment. So I just want to monitor this. If we start getting this cash flow turning up, it is going to get a little bit interesting for us. But where can we get a possible long? Let's say I'm looking for a long now on NVIDIA. Where's a safe place for me to buy it? So the first area for me that makes sense is going to be one or two of these areas again. So it would make sense to come and fill this wick. We do see in crypto all the time these wicks get filled, and I'm going to watch that area there. So for me, again, 93, 94 looks like an interesting zone for a bounce on NVIDIA. And then if that zone fails, guys, we do have the next backup zone, and I think this should offer quite a decent bounce here too. 78 down to 75 on NVIDIA. Okay, we can trade that one on BTCC. Remember, we send crypto to BTCC, and then we can just trade NVIDIA, Microsoft, all those types of things, and the link is in the show description there for you guys. All right, let's get into the big dog, and this is where we were yesterday. So basically, too long, what do we call it? Too long didn't read on the daily, looking for a possible fake out to the upside. If we get a big pump here on Bitcoin on the daily, you can see 88 to 89K is a very dangerous area for us, especially if you are late in going long. Now, obviously, there could be a squeeze. A lot of things can happen. There's arguments always, bullish and bearish all the time. But what I'm looking at the moment is a massive danger zone here. It looks like an easy zone for the market makers to go grab some liquidity and then catch everybody late long and then send them all back down. So that is kind of how I'm planning things at the moment. Obviously, I'm going to keep a few of my longs open in case the market keeps ripping. We're always going to keep something covered for both shorts and longs, and then we can always add. If the market starts blowing through, we can always grow the size, and if the market starts reversing, well, at least we're going to be covered with some kind of shorts or take profits and things like that. So that is my current strategy. 88, 89K, guys. That is what I'm looking for. And look, if we do get a rejection, this could be a bigger picture later on, but some kind of inverse head and shoulders here, perhaps. But that's something we can talk about probably next week. Okay, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that could be something on the table for us on BTC. All right, so that's the plan there on the daily. You've got your 2-hour levels. Those are the ones you're going to watch. Possible rejections here, guys. Okay, that is also on the table for us. Now, let's get into dominance. And you would have noticed earlier today, some of the alts started bouncing on some interesting levels, and quite often you can tie it in to some dominance reaction zone. So right now you can see BTC has taken the saddle now and is starting to push. But earlier today we saw a rejection here at this dominant zone, and that started just sparking off a couple of the alts. They put the brakes on those support levels that I gave you yesterday, and they are starting to bounce the alts a little bit now. So we're going to watch these zones closely. The next rejection zone for BTC dominance is going to be 64.3%, and that is the next area where I think we could get a little alt rip there to the upside. So as long as dominance is rejecting, remember, that's what we want to see for these altcoins, and then they can run a little bit there for you guys. And then a quick touch on total 3. This is the market cap excluding Bitcoin and ETH. You can see I've got 3-day bullish divergence here at the lows. And look, as long as we're holding this higher low, we should be okay for now. So you can see a couple of things just to cover. We are obviously in a downtrend, and if we do push down that way, you're probably going to get that higher low on BTC as well, and we're effectively looking for something like that if we're going to remain bullish. If there is a pop through, well, it's going to be a trend break, and then we can always add to that momentum. So both of these scenarios are in play, and I expect it to happen in line with whatever BTC does here on the daily. So if BTC blows through that area, you're going to see a trend break on that total 3. If it does start dipping back and forming that right shoulder, you're probably going to see that higher low on total 3. So let's just be patient with that one. And again, we're playing these alts on some good areas, and we just take what the market is going to give us. Some of the trades are going to be very short-term things, and some of them we can hold on to. Rob says the liquidations took their toll. Okay, well, I like how everyone is talking like this now. It's quality. Okay, guys, before we get into some of the other stuff, don't forget there is a daily candle newsletter that goes out, I think, Monday to Friday, and my day is Thursday. So if you want some free extra alpha, you can get the daily candle. So remember, my day, or Chart Hackers Day, is on Thursdays. So you're going to get some charts from me. You're going to get a trade set up for the weekend, things like that. If you like newsletters coming into your email, you can just go and sign up for it. Yeah, under the show description, click on more. Everything I talk about here is under the show description for you, including the daily candle link, which you are going to find here at the bottom. And well, it's going to magically appear if it's not here, but it should be here. There it is. Okay, there it is. Third or fourth from the top. You can't miss it. Okay, so sign up there. And today, again, Goldberg, today, I'm not talking about ETH. I absolutely refused. I'm so tired of looking at the same ETH chart, talking about the same levels, because that thing is an absolute, it's a stable coin at the moment. So Mia says, what's the story on Sol? Mia, well, here it is. Sol Weekly, this is the plan. Okay, we can't really argue that this is invalidated yet. Okay, let's see how that goes. That's our weekly chart. Remember, our lows are 80 to 60, those types of areas there. And then in terms of Sol, I was saying earlier today, possible short-term bounce on Sol, and this was also on Twitter at the Lord of Entry. Short-term bounce on Sol, potentially getting teed up, and here it is. Okay, trend line giving us a little bit of action. Where's my big zone on Sol? I still believe 120 to 115 is the banger for Solana. Now, it's been very interesting over the last couple of hours. We've had that consolidation there. Now we've actually lost that level. We've got the bounce. Is this potentially a little bit bearish, and does it drop a little bit lower down? So that is why I'm saying I'm very cautiously optimistic here. So if we do get these bounces, I'm not going to be under any illusions here. I'm going to start banging out some head shorts as well, just to manage my account a little bit there if we do get some kind of reversal. So right now, a little bit bearish on Sol under 134, 135. Let's see if it starts blowing through these levels, Mia, then it could get a little bit more spicy for us. Right now, just play safe, okay? Support 123, big zone, 120 to 115. Okay, that is interesting for me. Then in terms of the oscillator, we've got our reversal to the upside. Now let's see if we get some kind of double bottom here or some kind of divergence print. We'll have to let it settle a little bit. But the 2-hour is turning up, so that is looking a little bit better short term. And then let's confirm our 8s. Let's see where we are on the 8. And the 8-hour, yeah, it's turning over, but we could easily still come up here, print a lower high on that oscillator, and then roll over a little bit. So yeah, mixed bag at the moment for Sol. I'm very cautious here with these longs. We've got a nice bounce, but we're gonna play this thing safe. Now let's talk 𝗬𝗰. This is obviously a big one for me because I've been adding to my 𝗬𝗰 position, and this morning I was quite heavily underwater, dropping into the zone. I was literally at the bounce now or cut it off zone this morning. So here is 𝗬𝗰, and you can see we've just rejected off that VWAP. Look at that little VWAP rejection there at the moment at 2.14. So that is a little bit of an issue for us, but we do have a bullish reversal print. We've got the VWAP reversals. We've got divergence as well playing out for us on the 1 hour. So that is saying to us there could be a short-term push here on 𝗬𝗰. So that is why I was comfortable giving this as a trade setup to hackers earlier today. And for me, the exit plan is 2.05. If you close under 2.05, if you get a candle close under there, then it's going to get spicy, guys. Okay, so we're going to be looking at that type of region to the downside. So, don't ape into the situation. Play the momentum. You can see there's lots that can go on here. If you're nibbling around this type of area while the market decides what it wants to do, you can always then accelerate your trade later on by playing the trend break and playing the horizontal and adding to that trade. So if you want to nibble around here, give it a go, but closing under 2.05, that's a problem for me. And I'm probably going to start cutting that position. So you can see, let me just see the size of this thing here. Where are we? $54,000 now. Okay, so this thing was putting me under tons of pressure earlier. Now we've moved into that level. I've been adding a little bit all day and looking for this pop. So if we can get a 4-5% pop here out of 𝗬𝗎, this thing will turn green. It will start looking very good. But right now, under no illusions here. We're going to cut this thing. If it starts going under that 2.05, I'm not going to stick around too long on that one. Then you can see I'm still holding this 𝗏𝗲𝗎 short from yesterday, thanks to DJ and Dave last Friday. Okay, so that's an absolute banger. And I fired off the 𝗏𝗏𝗎 long. There it is. Look at the hedge long now in play. So the hedge long is 10K. The 𝗏𝗏𝗎 short is now 18,700. Okay, it's $2,700 up. And now instead of taking profits here, we banged out the hedge short. So if we get a little bounce, we can take profits on the long, add to the short, and then send that one a little bit lower down. Okay, so that's the game I'm busy playing at the moment. And then obviously render, where's our render here? There's render, $46,000. It's now $7,000 up. So I've been adding a little bit to that one as well, trying to get some momentum. Okay, so that's what we got going down at the moment. I'm going to bang out some hedge shorts when these alts hit some resistance zones and just to cover that account a little bit. So guys, remember, you can join us on a trading competition on 𝗏𝗏𝗋𝗋𝒻𝒃 just for my community. So anybody in Chart Hackers or watching the show, if you sign up to 𝗏𝗏𝗋𝒃 trading on my link, you're basically competing against whoever watches the show and some of the Chart Hackers members, and you can win top 5 prizes, $3,000 down to $1,000. Literally real money, cash back bonus. It's actual US dollars that you can take out of your account as first prize, $3,000. Fifth prize is $1,000. So sign up to the link there. All you got to do so far is beat someone who's got 107%. Okay, that's all you need to do. You need $100 to enter this competition, and the leader is on 107%. And I've said to the hackers, you guys have got some time. I'm going to give you a few more days. There's 13 days left here. Okay, come that last week, I'm going to come for you guys, and I'm going to come hard. So best you fucking start trading and get these rookie numbers up. Okay, 107%, James, rookie numbers, bro. And I want to see 300-400, and then I'm going to come in hard for you guys, and I'm going to come and hunt you. Okay, so that is the plan. And remember, it's all in the show description. Now, let's talk Sonic. This is the old Phantom, and lots of bullish talk around the Sonic at the moment. Andre Cornier, we're talking DeFi around it as well. And there's a lot of interest in the situation. And Marvelous says Sonic at 1 billion is just the start. Sonic Lab promised to redefine DeFi, and this isn't a cap. Okay, so this, you can do your own reading on Sonic. If you watch this long enough, you know the guys are quite bullish on the Sonic situation. So there was a potential short-term bounce trade on the Sonic that I took earlier today. I've taken it in an isolated position specifically because I want this trade to be alone. So remember, if you're trading isolated, whatever you put in an isolated trade is what you are risking. So that is why I did that to gold as well. I didn't want it to affect the rest of the trading account. And you can see I've started a long on S here in an isolated position. And the strategy is to see if we can get some kind of short-term move. Now, we're not getting greedy. We're trying to get a, say, anything from 7 to 10% move here on this S. Okay, so on the 2 hour, you can see we do have a possible reversal in play. And all we need to do at the moment is just hold this 458 zone. So if we can just fiddle around here a little bit and get a pop, then we'll be pretty happy with the result. The only problem is if we start losing that 4588 zone, we're probably going to have a quick ride to the downside. So for me, the invalidation is pretty clear. Okay, so look out for a little stop hunt and a pump back up. But if we get a candle close under that zone, definitely not going to be sticking around. I don't want to ride this thing all the way down because the next reasonable long on the Sonic is 39, 38. You can see the wicks down there. something around that. So I've had a go here. Let's see if there's momentum. 7 to 10% move, potentially nibble around in these zones. Don't ape in the full clip now. You go little bits at a time, little bit. When there's momentum, you add more. Okay, keep it very simple. Keep it super stress-free when you're taking these positions. If you're taking positions and you're feeling stressed, well, you're doing it wrong. Okay, you got to just take it easy on some of these. And that is what, okay, so that's the game plan here. Hunting targets 52. You're looking at 51. 52, 53, somewhere around there makes sense to me as potential short-term targets here on this S. Again, not getting too overexcited with ourselves. Now, I was talking to James offline. This hype has been it's been so painful for me watching hype go up, down. Look at this chart, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And this morning I had I think I was $46,000 short on hype. And I was probably $4,000 up at one point, and it's just chopping around. So I've been trying to exit a little bit here. We're now $23,000 short at the moment on this thing, and getting ready to cut. You can see I've set some stops a little bit higher up, getting ready to cut this thing if they are going to pump us through now. So we're going to look at that chart. You can see I'm still sitting long on CAS as well, and let's cover this hype situation, and we're going to cover GMX as well. That is the next one that I've got for you guys. So basically the game plan for hype is really 14, 13, 12. That is really what I wanted to see. But unfortunately now you can see this hyperliquid, if this market stays bullish, this hyperliquid's actually going to get bought. And the reason being, people are going to be trading again. And, hyperliquid is a DEX and whatever. And they're charging fees. They're making money. And people will get quite excited about this thing. So, unfortunately, it hasn't fallen over. We've had all of this time. Look at that. Look at the divergence prints here. And all they gave us was a few percent there to the downside. And now we've hit the lows again. Look at that cash flow. It's very strong at the moment. And I'm a little bit concerned, okay, about this current hype situation. So, they might actually try and pump us out of this thing. And that is why I just want to play this one safe. So exit zones here, guys, you can see I'm trying to cut a little bit at 16. I'm going to start exiting. Then 16.67 is another exit zone here for hype if it doesn't roll over. And then pretty much going to be done, because I think the next target is going to be about 18.4 if this thing does get momentum. You can see there is now a flag forming here, and we could obviously just blow out of this zone at any time. Okay, so just be super careful on this hype. If you are still short, you can see I'm trying to cut a little bit here as we go along. Now, another one that could behave like this as well, but I am laddering into a short position because it just looks too good on the charts at the moment not to consider taking on some kind of risk for a short, is the GMX situation. Now, we know there is a story about GMX paying out $14 million, and somebody got liquidated, okay? And then everybody that was staking GMX, from what I understand, was going to get a little bit of a payout out of that. Now, that is supposed to be happening, or was happening, this week. James, I don't suppose you've heard anything further. Is it done now?
I'm not sure there. I haven't seen an update on it.
Okay, so look,
it was to happen this week sometime.
So, yeah, I mean, look, basically what I'm looking for here is some kind of reversal on this GMX. So it's looking too good at the moment not to pay attention to this thing. Why is this looking good to me? 8-hour bearish divergence in play. Look at this. We've got 12-hour bearish divergence in play as well. Look at that. And the reversal print, we've got 4-hour also giving us tons of reversal prints as well. And look, it's not a guarantee. Okay, look at all these reversal prints here. And this thing is really trying to push it down. So what I do like is this cash flow is starting to roll over potentially here. Let's watch that thing start turning. But effectively, that is what I'm seeing, and that is what I'm looking at. Where does this thing roll over? Well, for me, there are two zones here that you guys can play around on. And the first one is about a 3% risk that you're going to be looking at. And that is anything from a pump into, say, 16 to about 16.4. If you pump into that zone, there's about you could probably get away with 2 to 3% risk here. But obviously, just ladder in slowly. Don't ape into the size with this thing, because if it blows through, you're probably going to take out this wick to the upside. So these are the two zones that make sense to me for potential shorts. If it blows through all of these, well, yeah, then I'm going to get absolutely rinsed on this thing. So I'm trying here where we are in this first zone. If we blow on and we push through to the next zone, that is going to be my next area. The downside of this thing is like 26% potentially. You can even get a 15% on this. It's going to be a beautiful move like that Jasmy or one of those others, and can really start printing for you on the way down. So being patient with GMX, I think it's going to give us something, guys. And remember, all these charts go straight into Chart Hackers after the show. Yes, sir.
Panda just sent a message. Apparently, he's putting stuff in the chat that's not showing up for some reason, but he's saying to look at ADA long right now.
Is Panda going long on ADA? Panda, let us know in the chat there, bro. I saw some of his comments.
Yeah, he sent me a message just now, said he already put it in there. So anyway, have a look at ADA.
Okay, well, guys, remember, this is Panda sitting in the comments there, and sometimes on the show, if he sees a little bit of a trade, he'll tell you guys what's going on in the comments. You just got to watch the comments, obviously, with what's going on. And he's one of our DGen scalpers there in Chart Hackers. So if you like a bit of that action there, he's a bit of a savage, absolute savage. Okay, guys, GMX, possible short, you've got the deal. You know what to do there. Then let's talk Brett. What an absolute banger. Wasn't that an absolute banger yesterday? 18% move to the downside. Look where this thing bounces. Anyone trading Brett, look at that thing. Down into 31. What did we hit? VWAP 0.5 horizontal. Bang. Thank you very much. Nice little bounce on Brett. Does that mean that's the bottom? No, not necessarily. I'm not super bullish now on Brett. If it does push higher, I'm most likely looking for a higher low. I mean, a lower high there, and then possibly some more downside on Brett. So you could see something along these lines here. Let's see how the market plays out. But big support now, guys. 31 is what you're going to be watching. There's Panda. Okay, he's back. And 31 is what you're going to be watching as your first line of support now for Brett. And in terms of new trades, guys, no trade zone right now for Brett. It's had a strong bounce, and you need to let this thing now settle either higher or lower, and then we figure that one out. Nice. PMG George made 300% profit, and he's still sending it lower. Geez, when I hit the zone, I just jumped out of that thing. It made too much sense to me in terms of a bounce zone. But guys, yeah, look, there is no guarantee that this market prints higher lows. So it could absolutely come and flush everybody out and print new lows on these alts. So if you are holding onto some shorts, I don't think it's the worst idea to have a couple more running. Then let's recap POPCAT. Guys, did you get your entries? In fact, I really need to know out of the chats here. Like, I really put a lot of effort into these charts for you guys, and I've been talking about them probably for 3 days. Link, Render, AVAX, POPCAT, all these other charts, the zones all hit today. Did you have your alarms on? Did you get some of your entries? Let me know in the chats. I'm very keen to find out from you guys, because look at this thing. I gave you 2 bounce zones here for POPCAT, and we were looking for some kind of reaction. So what I was looking for in this region was a bounce and a lower high. So what did we get? We got our first zone. We got our VWAP here, 382 horizontal. We got our bounce. Now we're probably going to see something like that. Okay, so that is kind of my plan on POPCAT at the moment. And the big zones here, guys, 225 and 204. 204 for me is a proper banger. Okay, that's the 50-day MA as well, the 0.5 horizontals there, and it could be an absolute banger. So for me, what can that look like? If we get a reversal now in the market, you're probably going to see divergence print. So POPCAT could print a lower low, oscillator prints a higher low, and then you start throwing the gran at it. You know what I mean? You get the granny out there, and you start sending things higher. Okay, so you're selling the hamster. Sorry, kids. And then you're going to look for that long. 204, 205, that's a bounce zone there for me on that POPCAT. So keep your eyes on that. And then resistance, guys, 28. Watch that. That's your big zone here to the upside. 28 on POPCAT is what you're going to be careful at. Now, when you break through that, that's another discussion. But 28 is your hot zone to the upside. Okay, let's talk 𝗏𝗏𝗏 as well. Dropped into our zone. Look at this absolute banger here. It's actually kissing that 382. So we've hit our 226 region. And for me, anything down to 215, that's pretty much our first area there of interest. So no changes there. Hopefully you guys got some of that bounce, and you can see a very nice clean downtrend here. This is actually really pretty to play with now. So a beautiful game plan here. And anybody new to this stuff, you buy in these hot zones, you nibble around. When you start blowing through horizontals and trend, you nuke it. Okay, you add to those positions, you grow your size, you play with your margin. And remember, I'll teach you guys all of that in the accelerator course in workshop number 2. I'll tell you how to play a few tricks or a couple of game plans on leverage and how you can manage it. So remember, that is on my accelerator course. Make sure you have signed up. Okay, it is around the corner, my workshop in 4 days time, guys. Very short easy to understand videos, and you're going to understand how I play with all these tools and all these indicators and how I work out and calculate where we short, where we long. Like, how did I know that we were going to short there? You're going to learn that in the accelerator course. Okay, it's that simple. It's really, I use some basic concepts and basic TA here to get you guys going. Okay, so Tao, you've got your supports. If that trend breaks, you can add it. Okay, but right now, if the trend doesn't break, well, what do we know about the situation? It is essentially a downtrend. So downtrends at some point always break, and you can just ride these trends to the downside until they do, and then you can add when it moves higher. So I'm obviously banking on 226 to 215 holding. So you've got your first entry there in that region, 226 to 215. That we want to see hold. Then we see if it reverses after that. Now, in terms of the oscillator, the 4-hour, no actual clear reversal signs just yet. So there could be a couple of games here still on this oscillator. We'll have to just monitor it over today and tomorrow and see how we go. This is one of the charts I update fairly regularly in Chart Hackers because I have been trading this one. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Then let's go. AVAX also hit our zone. And this is the first big bounce zone here for me. So if this doesn't bounce here, guys, we're looking at 18.5 down to 17.8. This is our first area. It's now pinged the zone. So hopefully some of you guys got a little bit ahead of the game there. We've got a 4-hour reversal print. But remember, this 4-hour could easily come and print divergence first. And what does it mean if it's printing divergence? It means that you're probably getting another dip to the downside. So just be aware of that. If you see a reversal print, doesn't automatically mean that you ate full clip. It just tells you that the momentum could be changing and you need to pay attention. And you use that with a whole lot of other tools to decide on your trading. Okay, so we've got our first reversal print. If it's going to print divergence, it means AVAX 17.8 could be visited. Even 17 could be visited for AVAX. But in terms of getting the first bounce, in terms of hitting a big zone, that was 18.5, and that thing was tapped earlier today. And look, nothing exciting, 3.7%. I mean, that's ridiculous. But anyway, that is your support that you're watching at the moment for AVAX. Then let's talk Link. Straight into the zone. I believe my, it's probably my 5th order is now bought on Link. So that 12 region was obviously a big one for us. And you can see we've got our reaction. And we're looking for a push now on Link, even if it's short term to about 13. But what I've done here for you guys is similar to a lot of these other altcoins, is I've highlighted quite a big zone because we really need to just be cautious with the current market conditions. So I don't want you guys aping in full clips in these areas, because you can see I've written here there's a possible 6% drop here available on Link, and this thing can still be potentially bullish. So don't shoot all your shots in one zone here if you want to try and build a position and you want to see the divergence start forming. So this is once again a good start for us on the 4-hour, but it's no guarantee. I mean, you can see what happened here last time. We had a bounce and they brought it all the way down, okay, and then they sent it higher. So just look out for these types of things and these types of games with the market makers. But in terms of first level 12, watch that. Next level 11.66, and then the next big one 11.3 is what you guys are going to be watching here on Link. Okay, so keep your eyes on that. And then let's go render. So that was quite a nice strong bounce there for us. Okay, nice one. It didn't hit the add-on or the big buy zone here, unfortunately. This kind of front ran that area like Hype did. So the real test now is render actually going to reject, print a higher low, and then are we going to come back to the zone? So I suspect that is potentially on the table for us. So guys, 3.46, put your alarm on for render. 3.46, I think this is a possibility here. A little bit lower, 3.21. Okay, look out, 3.46, 3.21. If we print a higher low on render, watch out to the downside. That is also probably going to give you this kind of divergence here as well. And then we know the real long is going to be on. Okay, so right now could be a little bit of a trap, could be a trick at the moment, could be a short-term bounce here on render. Watch out, danger zones, 3.86. Danger zone 4, 3.86 and 4. Watch those areas for render. The big zone 3.46. I like the look of that one. And then Panda, what are we doing with core, bro? And I think we do have a possible long coming. And Dylan says just take profits, big, small. It's all good. Guys, there's nothing wrong with banking some profits. It's such a good feeling. And make sure if you have a winning trade, make sure you do something for yourself with it. Buy something, do something, just so you can feel what it feels like. Because when we're playing this game and when we're trading leverage, sometimes it just feels like tokens in a game. And when you actually physically take it out and use that money, it's quite a feeling. So if you win a trade, buy something special for somebody. Do something for yourself. Just just use the profit so you can get used to getting that going. Now, I wonder if is Panda here? What are we doing with this thing? So you can see I'm in a small core short at the moment, and I just want to show you on a higher time frame. Let me just give you a picture here as to what is going on. Core is looking interesting, and I think this is a BTC related token. Now, DJ and Dave used to talk about this one a lot. I think he spent a lot of time at their booth at the Bitcoin conference, I believe. I think it was the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, and he was quite keen on this core. And I think in terms of upside zones, we can see anything from 74 to about 82 is a possible upside area here for this core. But the question is, how do you get there? Is there a possible trade? So if you look at it this way, in terms of longs, you can see this thing is actually teeing up a little bit interesting for us. Look at this current situation. These are horizontals that you want to watch. So we've broken through 55, 56, and potentially a pullback now. Okay, but in terms of upside targets, 61, and then look at that, 70, 74 to 76. So I quite like the look of this thing as long as we can get some kind of entry. So divergence on the 12, okay, that's not looking great at the moment. Let's see on the 8. Okay, 8's also a bit cooked. Let's see the 4. 4 starting to reverse. Let's see the 2. 2's reversing. Okay, so what we're looking for is we can see there's a possible big trade coming to the upside on core. All it needs to do is hold the reversal. So I'm going to give you a bit of a degen play here for the reversal. So again, doesn't necessarily mean you have to enter a short, because this thing could obviously start pumping. But what you want to look for is just some kind of bullish pullback. So we're keeping it really simple here, guys. You keep it as simple as possible. When you're trying to play these breakouts, take your local low and get your local low, look for that breakout, and the retest always, you want it to hold at least that 382, somewhere in that area. You want it to tie in with some kind of horizontal zone. So you can see we've got horizontals here. This thing's pumped. If it drops into that zone, that makes a lot of sense to me to look for some longs here on this call. And the game plan is simple. If it loses a trend, we bearish. Okay, loses a trend, you kind of just want to exit that position. It's not a good look. So it's quite an easy invalidation. So 554 and 5-3 are your support zones to watch for core. And I do believe if those hold those areas, there's quite a big push here. 73, 74 as potential upside targets on core. Okay, let's have one more quick look at BTC. Let's just see where we are. And okay, guys, it's not a rejection just yet. Okay, it's not a rejection just yet. So not panic stations yet. Let's see our liquidations. Yeah, that's our 1 week. Let's look at our 24-hour. Let's see where we are. I can't believe I keep saying liquidations now. Okay, here's our next one. 85.8 down to 85.3. That is our upside liquidity or liquidation zone. So that is bang on into this region over here. Okay, so it makes sense. If they do want to come, they can grab liquidity in that area. Easy little target there for BTC. Okay, Tony says back to 84.150. Tony, he's playing the small time frames here, bro. We're 84.150. Yeah, possibly. Tony's watching 5-minute candles though. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yes. Okay, short term, possible bounce on the market, easy invalidations. Now, all these altcoins bounce on some very big zones. Use those zones to your advantage. Look for the stop hunts just below those areas. So if they do sweat you out later on today, look for that candle wick below, grab the stops and a bounce back up. Obviously, if that candle keeps grinding down and they close you under that level, there's a very good chance that it's going to remain bearish and they might pump you up a bit and then send it a lot lower down. So manage your risk, manage your stuff. You've got a GMX short. That's a possibility there. If you see a pump in the market, look for the targets that I gave you on some of these altcoins. Open some head shorts, especially those of you trading cross accounts. If your trades that you're in turn green, hits one of those zones, open a tiny head short just to see how it all works, and then you'll get the hang of it. Okay, see you guys tomorrow, same time, later.